I'm Jennifer Della Quadri, and this is Subtle Shifts, the podcast where you'll learn how to transform your life from the inside out, one small, meaningful shift at a time. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so excited about this episode because I'm going to be sharing with you some really powerful tools and questions to help you get clear on your purpose. I feel like purpose really gets misunderstood so many times because people think that there is just one purpose. And if you find it, you're like, yay, I won the lottery. I found my purpose. But the way I see it is that we are multidimensional, multi-passionate beings, and we have more than one purpose. And a purpose can also evolve as you grow through your life. It's so powerful to be able to align yourself with your soul's purpose and your soul's calling, because when you do, you become a better, more aligned, happier version of yourself. And to me, there's nothing more generous than aligning yourself with your soul's purpose, because when you are a better person, you influence everyone around you. And essentially, you're helping to lift the vibration of the planet, like no small feat, right? So before I get into the tips and tools, I want to clarify, a purpose is not a job. A job is something that you do. A purpose is who you are when you're doing that job or doing that thing. A purpose, when you're doing that, it affects other people positively. They are uplifted when you are aligned with your purpose. A job, I heard once, like, I quit my job to step into my purpose. Yes, you can be lining yourself up with your purpose when you're in your job, but they're two distinct things. Your purpose is you at your highest good, highest vibration, and aligning yourself with your gifts. I like to think that there are three things that really are strong indicators that you are in line with your purpose. Number one is that you lose track of time when you're doing it. You're not really thinking like, when is this going to be over? Or I hope this is done soon. Or what time is it? Like, you look at the clock and you just forget how much time has passed. That happens to me when I'm coaching my clients a lot of the time, because I'm so engrossed in supporting them and in what they're saying, and my brain is online and how to best uplift them. And sometimes I look at the clock and I'm like, whoa, hold on. How did we already get here? Because I'm so engrossed in the moment. Another really great indicator is that it's something that just comes naturally to you. So people might come up to you and be like, gosh, you're so good at that. And you think, gosh, I thought everybody could do that. Like, that's just really easy for me. I don't even have to try at it. It's just natural. So that's a really great indicator as well. And the third thing I like to think is really with how you feel when you're doing it. It's just really fulfilling. It feels like you're meant to do it. And I also want to clarify too that there's no wrong answer here. There can be some judgment, like the human brain wants to judge around like, I don't really want that to be my purpose, because people might not agree with that, or they might judge me, or it's not good enough. That's your human brain sabotaging you, and also societal conditioning. So for the purposes of this episode, I want you to just really lean into what I'm offering and then dive into the tools and the questions that I'm going to give you and see what comes up. And you might be surprised at how your purpose and your soul's calling has already started to kind of integrate itself into your life in really positive ways. The first thing I want to share with you is a Japanese concept called Ikigai. If you've never heard of this before, it's so powerful because it takes not just like what you're good at and like getting really strong with that, but it helps you understand 4 main areas to look for when you are starting to pursue this outcome. And this is something that I did years ago. I was introduced to this concept and it kind of blew my mind in a way, because I was like, I thought purpose was just what you're good at, but it's so much more than that. Ikigai was originally from Okinawa, Japan. And if you break down the word Ikigai into two parts, there's Iki, which means life, and Gai, which means purpose. So when you put those two together, life, purpose. And really what it boils down to is the intersection of four things: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for or rewarded for. So when you think about that in your present day life, and sometimes you can be really good at something and not enjoy doing it. That wouldn't necessarily be the Ikigai. Or something you really enjoy and maybe you're not good at, that also might not necessarily be Ikigai. And then thinking about what the world needs, that brings in other people. How are you enriching the human experience by doing this thing that you do? And then also tying it all in together, the energetic exchange of what can you be paid for or rewarded for financially. When you get all four of those together, powerful. There's a lot of really great graphics on the internet. So if you just Google Ikigai, you'll probably be able to see all of them. But the way that I have learned how to figure this out is to just make lists and let it be an open-ended list. At first, you might sit down and start filling it out and be like, okay, that's everything. But then as you move through your life, some things might come to light. And you're like, wait, hold on. I could add that to my list. That's something I'm really good at. Or that's something that I really love to do. Or that's something the world really needs. Or something I could get paid for. And you just kind of let it lie there. See what kind of lands in the middle. And I also, again, want to point out that it's not necessarily what you're doing. It's who you are. So for example, for a long time, my Ikigai was to teach. It still is, but now I'm leaning into the Ikigai of inspiring action, inspiring change, inspiring people to live in their purpose. That is right now my Ikigai, and it's continually evolving, as I said. So start with the Ikigai, and then here are 6 questions to help you just reflect and kind of get to the core of what really lights you up. The first one is one of my favorites, and that is, what made you weird as a kid? Okay, before the world told you that you couldn't do it, or before so-and-so down the street made fun of you or laughed at you because you were doing that or because you cared about it, and then you shut it down, between the ages of, say, 7 and 9, what did you love to do where you would lose track of time? And I talked about this a little bit in the fun episode. If you didn't listen to that, go back, because part of really aligning with your soul's purpose is to bring more fun into your life. But truthfully, what made you weird? What set you apart? What kind of things that you did you do that you probably wouldn't want everybody to know, or sometimes maybe you felt judged for it? So just kind of make a list of those things. The second question is, when do I lose track of time? So this is, again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, when do you start doing this thing and forget where you are, who you are, what's going on? Like you're fully engrossed in the present moment. The next question is, what do people thank you for? A lot of people thank me for being such a good listener. And a lot of people thank me for being so open-minded and non-judgmental. That is part of something that I just am. It's who I am. I don't even feel like people should thank me, because it's like I'm not going out of my way. This is just who I am as a person. So what do people thank you for? Like things that you've done that you weren't expecting to be thanked for, or you weren't going out of your way to do. It's just who you are. When does that happen for you? The next question is, where can I make my biggest contribution? And I want to specify that biggest doesn't mean to impact the most people. You don't have to impact the whole world with your purpose. You can impact just your own family unit, and that is significant enough. As a parent coach for years, I would say over and over and over, when you are aligned with yourself and you are content and centered and able to lead your children with a calm heart and a calm mind, You're doing more for the world than potentially if you just went out and were like that with a bunch of strangers. You're setting the tone for everyone in your house. And big contribution can also mean in your job that you have, or in your community, in society. It can also be on a grand scale. But where might you be able to use the gifts that you have to make the world a better place? The next question is, what would I do if I didn't have to make money? The first time I heard this question, I don't even know if it was the first time, but it was the first time I decided that I wanted to answer it. Gosh, I was probably 30 years old. I heard that question and I could not come up with an answer. My brain couldn't give me anything. It was so hard for me to even imagine having a life where I could just do what I wanted to do. I mean, after the fun things like traveling or buying whatever needs that you want to fulfill or living in luxury, whatever it is, what have you, what would you do with your time? Because sitting around and doing nothing and just watching TV and doing whatever you want gets old. Eventually, you're going to want to do something that fills you up. So imagine in this dream life that you have, money's not an object. What would you do with your time? How would you make a contribution? What would you want to give? And how would you spend your days? And the next question is kind of a two-parter. What will I regret when I'm 90? And this can be a tough question, but studies have shown that regret is mostly coming from things that you did not do versus things that you did do. Things like missed chances, or not being bolder, or not starting something like a business, not traveling, not speaking up, not doing that thing. What would you look back on and just regret? Like, I should have done that, or I wish I would have done that. And then the second part of this question is, what would I be proud of at 90? So what would I do now where my 90-year-old self would be like, heck yeah, I did that. That's freaking fantastic. What would that be? And make all of those lists. So take these questions, take the Ikigai, give yourself a little time to reflect on it. And know it's okay if you don't have an answer right away. Some of you might have an answer. Some of you might be listening to this and going, I already know what my purpose is. And maybe you're a little bit nervous to follow through on it. Maybe you need a little support. Either way, I've got you. If you're wanting to lean into that purpose with passion, follow through, and intention, and be courageous and do the things that your 90-year-old self would be so proud of, I would love to support you. There's a link in the show notes. You can connect with me. We'll have a conversation, see if it's a good fit, because I would love for you to bring your magic into the world. I would love to support you with that. So take this information, share this episode with a friend, somebody you think could really benefit from hearing these things. Get together with your friend, do these activities together. Let it be fun. And from there, I would love to hear from you. Find me on Instagram, jennifer.delaquadri. Send me a message. Comment below. There's a lot of call to actions happening here, but I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you think. And I would love more than anything to hear what your purpose is. So send me a message and let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me. If you're ready to take the next step in transforming your life, be sure to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. And if something resonated with you today, I'd love to hear about it. Share your thoughts, tag me on social media, or leave a review to help others find the podcast. Remember, the smallest shifts can create the biggest transformations. I look forward to hearing from you.